My name's Adrian Childs, and I'm not an alcoholic.
How many times in the past year have you tried to cut down or stop drinking? Never.
At least, I don't think I am.
We're addicted to it without being alcoholics.
Can someone go and get another drink?
I do drink most days, but compared to a lot of people, I don't put loads away.
You've got to drink quite quickly to get through 3 bottles in a night.
It was like it was pop.
I can tell you about lying in my bed and seeing spiders on the ceiling.
I've seen no spiders, I don't really get drunk, and I don't misbehave.
I'm not somebody who fights or gets involved with the wrong people when I'm drinking.
This isn't a programme about drinking sherry in the morning or waking up in shop doorways.
If alcohol was discovered today, unquestionably, it would be illegal.
You won't be seeing any blue flashing lights or emergency wards.
Cheers, mate.
This is about nice, regular drinking.
Many times I'd rifle through here.
And the damage quietly being done to ourselves and society
Have a pint.
by drinkers like me.
Goodbye forever.
I doubt anyone who knows me thinks I'm a problem drinker. I may drink 6 days a week, but I don't fall over, fight, or find myself too hungover to function. I generally don't drink during the day either.
So that's talent, though. Never mind television presentation. You can carry this much stuff.
But this is match day, and even though it's an early kick-off, drinking for me and my cronies is compulsory.
No, it didn't take you long to get through that. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Haven't you got a bar in your house?
I did have. It's a shower in it.
But when you turn the tap on...
Christ, it's 10, and that's going down a tree. I think, well, is this a slippery slope? Am I going to be one of those people in Weatherspoons at 10 in the morning?
It's an early kick-off, so
It
you've
is.
got an excuse for that one.
But, you know, but...
I do know lads who will start drinking the Sambuca especially as soon as they jump on the train. So there's drinking and there's drinking, right? I don't think that's as bad.
Yeah, but Kev, I know some genuine alcoholics. They all say words to that effect. There's drinking and there's drinking. And guess what? I'm on the right side of the line because they're drinking Sambuca, because they're drinking more than me and they stay up later than me. There's their kind of drinking's bad. No, mine's fine. I made my own little rules. Yeah.
Well, I know my limits,
Yeah.
right? Some people don't.
Right, more beer. I'll finish mine. What's the matter with you, lot? Come on, Maguire. I wanted to make this programme because I just became more and more fascinated in sort of why I drink. Guinness?
Guinness, please.
Yeah, coming up. At some level, I need to drink. I want to drink. Maybe some doctor would look at me and said, "I got bad news for you, Adrian. You're an alcoholic." I don't know. My feeling is that just because you're not waking up in a shop doorway at 4 in the morning, or not waking up with a complete stranger, you know, and not drinking sherry in the morning, just because you're not any of those things doesn't mean you're not alcohol dependent or have got some kind of dependency issue with alcohol. Oh, God, it's raining as well. Come on, let's go.
After the match, it's a lift home with 2 more old friends. Peter and his daughter Sarah both know a thing or two about drinking.
It wasn't brilliant. It was yet more disappointment. We should have won, really, anyway.
Peter's a recovering alcoholic who quit 13 years ago.
Well, I'm absolutely clear that I am medically and technically an alcoholic. Something inside me was forever saying, I want to drink. I think people who just couldn't face the hair of the dog or the starting again, they're probably not alcoholics. Yeah. They just were clumsy binge drinkers, if you like.
Clumsy binge drinkers, good expression.
Yeah.
Have you got any of those in your family?
Let's have a think about this. Stereotypical.
Once you start, you don't see any reason to stop, do you?
I don't really have a stopping point. I remember a time when I stopped for a burger on the way home and I lived in London. I woke up in the morning and there was ketchup everywhere and I actually thought I might have been stabbed. But the point was, I didn't remember getting home with my burger.
But, I mean, are you now looking forward to having a drink, both of you?
I'm not, but only because I've had one today, and
Oh,
I've
I
just,
see.
you know, I had 4 pints before bloody 11:30. So.
4?
Pie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brilliant.
right.
I was thirsty. Don't judge me,
Yeah.
Peter.
You see, the fact that you don't want to drink now, Adrian, is a good sign if you're concerned.
You're kind of saying, if you ever don't fancy a drink, then you're probably not an alcoholic, which is, you know, one way of looking at
Yeah,
it.
so you're fine.
Yeah, and you're fine as well.
Yeah, I'm fine.
That'd be really nice. That we can go down the river.
Encouraged by that, after the football, I got a train back to London for a friend's 40th, where there was more drinking to be done.
It's a very long night. Got in at 2 o'clock. Oh, you'll like this. Look. Now that is classic.
Like most enthusiastic drinkers, I've diligently avoided working out just how much I'm putting away. But today's the day. Doctors say 14 units a week is the safe limit for both men and women. That's either 7 pints, a bottle and a half of wine, or 10 shots. A week.
Okay, yesterday I had 4 pints of Guinness plus 4 bottles of beer before dinner. So let's call that 2 pints. Oh, bloody hell, that's 8 pints, not including wine yesterday. Champagne, yes, drank 1 glass. Wine, I must have had 5 glasses of wine. This isn't looking good. This doesn't link up to my doctor's. Okay, as you've had 16 drinks, 32.4 units in one day. I mean, over a week, I can't imagine I wouldn't be in triple figures. That's bonkers. I mean, the worrying thing with that is I can't tell you I'm not going to drink today, because I will. I won't have a lot. I probably might have one at lunchtime, don't know. Monday night, probably will. Sun's out in the garden. Tuesday, definitely will, because I've got a couple of friends coming round. Wednesday, yeah, why wouldn't I? Thursday I won't, because I'm on air. And then on we go again. Can't be good for you. Okay, well, that's depressing. Night is falling. Dark black cloud is settling over us.
The amount of alcohol we buy in the UK is roughly double the amount we admit to drinking. So it looks like it's not just me who's been kidding myself. The recommended drinking limit for men used to be 21 units a week. 2 years ago, it was reduced to just 14, the same as for women. And where do they get this 14 units figure from anyway? And how much more than that do you need to be drinking to be considered an alcoholic?
Hello, Adrian.
Nice to see you.
Long time no see.
You're looking well. Really nice to see you.
Have a seat.
Oh, this is a proper...
My friend Professor Knott is a neuropsychopharmacologist. Not easy to say after a unit or two.
The big question that you must get asked all the time is how do you define alcoholism or alcohol dependency? Are they the same thing?
Well, we're trying to get away from that a bit these days. People say, well, I'm not like an addict. I'm not drinking very cheap cider and sleeping in the gutter, so I'm all right. And that's not true, because we know 1/3 of the people coming into the liver unit with alcohol-related liver damage do not meet the criteria for alcoholism. They're just like you. They're just drinking more than they should. So we're trying to get a conceptual change now in how we view alcohol. And we're looking at this idea that it's heavy use over time. For a drug like alcohol, the more you use, the much greater the impact. So any reduction is good. There's a very publicized paper came out a couple of weeks ago in The Lancet. Amazing study. They looked at 600,000 people, looked at drinking in relation to the health harms. So this graph shows mortality from any cause in relation to alcohol consumption. If you, or me, were to reduce our consumption from the old maximum to the new maximum, we get an extra 2 years of life. when you get to the much higher levels of drinking, then we are seeing people losing 10 or even 20 years of life. And that is a problem.
Without wishing to overshare here, you know, I always suffered from bouts of despondence, intense despondence, I might call it. Just one pint would get rid of it. Has alcohol caused that, or was the alcohol the effect of that?
Alcohol does calm the brain, but the effect is transient. And when the alcohol goes, the brain's actually a little bit more excitable. So people who drink to deal with anxiety, and we estimate maybe over half of all people who are alcohol dependent are drinking to deal with stress disorders like anxiety and depression. But it never cures them, because the brain adapts to the alcohol and the anxiety comes back more, the depression comes back more.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Right, in my unit, since last... I never drink on Thursdays because I'm on air late on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Friday, 16.1 in a day. So that's the weekly thing gone. 14 on Saturday. Light day, just the 8 units Sunday. 3.4 Monday, 11 Tuesday, 16 Wednesday, last night. You know, this is miles ahead of that. But...
Yes. That's right, you must cut down.
Yeah.
And you really must.
The problem is, alcohol's been a massive part of my life since I was a teenager growing up in this house. This is my mum, who's always busy. And this is my dad, who never is.
And this is the cocktail cabinet. Many times I'd rifle through here. This is where the baby sham was kept. It's bloody absinthe here. Well, you've been drinking absinthe?
Somebody must have given it to me. I haven't got a clue. Didn't even know he was there.
Why are there 4 bottles of Irish cream liqueur?
Oh, it's
Special offer at Aldi or something.
On the shelf, so I bought a couple.
Well, you bought 5 at least, because that's how many's in here. OK. I went through a phase of thinking I was going to be a rock god. I don't know what I thought was going to be there. Farmer.
Maybe you could tell us about your very first experience of getting drunk.
Some family party in Birmingham. And I must have picked up something, drank some cider, and I just suddenly felt, about 12 or 13, just suddenly warm and just, don't know, warm and focused, but fuzzy at the same time, you know. Thought, wow, this is great.
Having acquired a taste for it, drinking became a key part of my life. Indoors, outdoors, wherever. If I could get hold of it, I'd drink it. And getting served in pubs like an actual grown-up was a real obsession.
Okay, so I'm 16. It's 35 years ago. Desperate for a drink, alcohol. There was no point to life unless you could get a drink. Me and my mates had heard tell of a pub 2 miles walk away, where the word was the barman would serve you, even if you didn't look 18. So we set out on this odyssey. The discussion all the way here would have been about tactics. Who shaves, who's got stubble, who's tallest, who's oldest. Nobody would want the big responsibility of the one to go to the bar. We talk about the nonchalance with which we'd walk in. Are we going to go together? Are we going to go in separately? So now the place hoves into view. Pulse is racing. My whole weekend, my whole sense of self-worth hangs in the balance. And it's in that pub I'd find my destiny. The thought that in 1 minute or 5 minutes I could be just shambling back down shamefacedly, it was just too awful to contemplate. And I'd try and walk in with the air of a man who just belongs here. It's perfectly normal to saunter in and get a drink. Here we go. Good evening, lady. That's exactly the kind of thing. Oh, precisely the kind of thing I would have done.
It was about friendship. It was about waking up with a terrible head, go, oh, wow, wasn't that great? Oh, hilarious. Oh, did you see what John did? It was just the bonding thing. I mean, I started hanging around with some slightly older kids, and I'd go back to my sort of friends of my own age, going, yeah, we were up the, we were at the Swan, or we were at the, we're at the Horse and Groom. That's 7 or 8 pints, yeah. Dan got it, older than me, and my school friends think, wanker. Quite rightly.
All the pubs I used to drink in say they're now much more careful about underage drinking. And in any case, research suggests 16 to 24-year-olds are now drinking less. It's people of my generation with the real problem. Alcohol-related deaths in the over 50s have risen sharply since 2001. I'm off to meet a man who, like me, falls into this high-risk group, but is completely unapologetic about his intake.
You baba ganoush with some Lebanese flatbread.
For a man who can drink 20 pints again in someone sitting, you do a fine metrosexual type shtick.
Mark is retired. He lives with his wife, Helen. He loves cooking almost as much as he loves drinking.
What would you like to drink, young man?
What have you got there?
That is gin, pomegranate juice and tonic water.
OK, and I'm just looking where the little hand is not yet at 6.
Right. Is that your...
No, I'm just saying. I mean, that's about now. I'd want my first drink.
5 o'clock is my new, not before 5, apart from weekends.
On weekdays, Mark typically drinks 2 or 3 large vodkas, followed by at least half a bottle of wine. More at weekends. His average is between 80 and 100 units a week. That's about 6 times the recommended 14-unit limit.
It's nice and refreshing. Cheers, good health.
Cheers, mate. I can't see a goal with a net in without wanting to kick the ball.
No, that's fine. You go and have a...
I'm just going to do it. What position were you?
Right back.
Oh, you see the way he controlled that? It's beautiful. Oh, it sticks to its feet. It's like glue. I don't quite know how to put this, because I like you. I hardly know you, but I like you. You're kind of my kind of person. But I sort of slightly worry about you a bit.
So, OK, I've got a, raised blood pressure, which you'd expect when you're obese and, drink too much. Cholesterol level, I have a drug for that. And the beta blocker I have is, because I have an slightly enlarged heart, that I'm not sure of the cause of that, but, it's... So I get...
Alcohol can't help.
Yeah, no, and I accept that.
If I said to you, right, I want you to limit, for me, let's just make this pact, right? We're gonna keep it to 25 units a week. Could you do that? Could you commit to that?
On an ongoing basis?
Yeah.
I'd find that would, that would be an unrealistic target for me. Let's have a glass of white then, shall we? Nice.
I'm sure you've got to the point, like me. You can't be full of crack unless you've had a drink. I can't really enjoy that unless I've got a drink inside me. But maybe you can. Mate, just own the possibility, mate.
Well, as it stands at the moment, I wouldn't know, because I'm always having that drink.
Your whole life, it's built around drinking. There's an expectation of you to drink. I'm exactly the same.
But I don't wake up in the morning thinking, right, if I don't have a few drinks tomorrow, I'll have let myself down from...
But that's the fallacy.
What I've become.
That's the fallacy, and we're so similar, because that's the fallacy I tell myself. I don't want to drink anything in the morning. But that doesn't mean that I'm not addicted to alcohol in some sense, which I am. I'm sure I am, and you are.
Yeah, well, yeah, to a degree. We're addicted to it without being alcoholics.
So vodka, white wine, red wine, and eventually port. Between us, I reckon we easily got through north of 50 units. A heavy night, even for me. Research by the NHS and the government suggests it's the middle classes who are likely to drink most regularly. All this boozing comes at a price.
Everyone I've spoken to, the medics, the public health experts, talks about the damage, the cost to the economy and the NHS of drinking.
Public Health England has it at £47 billion a year.
It's coming from people like me, the constant drinkers, the toppers up. I think we are the problem. Drinkers like me.
Just jab away, I'm good with that, that's fine.
Blood tests have always suggested my liver's fine. But given what I now know, I think it's probably prudent for someone to have another look.
Are you drinking too much, Mr. Charles?
Well, depends what you mean by too much. Which is what we're trying to establish. I'm certainly drinking more than the recommended 14 units a week.
Right.
How many units are you drinking a week?
None at all. So you can drink on
You
my
would
behalf.
have to give me a sober phlebotomist, wouldn't you? My blood did look slightly the colour of Guinness. I'm slightly worried about that. Anyway, I'm off for a drink. That's a joke, by the way. Cup of tea, please.
I'll get the results in a couple of days. Until then, it's back to Birmingham for a spot of binge drinking. Not my usual thing, but here goes.
6:15, no units today so far. No units. No units. These are my first 2.3 units. Was it 2.3 or 2.4? How much was Guinness? 2.3? Anything else? No, that'll be just my 2.3 units of Guinness, please.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
A typical Friday night out for my friend Sarah, the woman described by her recovering alcoholic dad as a clumsy binge drinker. The NHS defines binge drinking as drinking lots of alcohol in a short space of time or drinking to get drunk. I suspect there's a bit of both going on here.
I'll be very interested to compare units, because I think I'll be running you close, if not overtaking you. Peroni.
Yep.
A botty back. A Guinness.
What follows is a routine played out in most pubs around the country. A bit of silliness.
Do you think I could get rid of this crevice here? So I'd be like that?
No, you wouldn't be like that, but you wouldn't.
Like that?
Can you imagine?
Followed by giddiness, then a bit of the old deep and meaningful.
Binge drinking, can that turn into the form of drinking that your
No.
dad? Are you sure?
Not at all, because it wouldn't even interest me in a million years to like have a drink in the morning like that.
You said me something the other day, Tommy. I'm not.
Sorry.
And then back to giddiness.
But when you were saying to me the other day that you were emphasising that I am in control, I'm not mad, I'm not going to turn into what my dad was. You said, look, I'm not a vomiter. That's the height of virtue, that you don't actually vomit everything on a normal night's drinking. I mean, that's damning yourself with faint praise, Wally.
So yeah, I've got friends that literally like will drink until like the only reason they stop drinking is because they vom.
Right. They might have a problem.
I'm not a vomiter.
You're not a vomiter, so you're all right. You just drink more without vomiting. That's not certainly a good thing. Oh, it's 5 minutes. Hang on, I've got to go for a wee.
Can someone go and get another drink? Please.
It seems to me every drinker who doesn't identify as an alcoholic has reasons why that label doesn't apply to them. Sarah says she's a binger and nothing more. As to why she drinks like this, she has quite a compelling theory.
When I was 30, I got diagnosed with breast cancer, fairly aggressive, sort of stage 4. I got told that I had to have double mastectomy, chemotherapy, lose my hair. Yeah, just not nice. I was told I probably had like no future. How long am I going to live? They didn't know. So that's why suddenly I think life changed for me. Suddenly. 5 years from ambition as of last week. This mentality of like life's too short. You know, I definitely like live every day like it's my last, and I will go out with the best of them. And I have the whole, was it FOMO? Fear of missing out. So I would always be at the party, always.
NHS guidelines say as little as 6 units at one sitting is binge drinking. That's 3 medium glasses of wine or 3 pints. I think Sarah and I have just about exceeded that this evening.
I couldn't keep up with you. This is probably my 7th, so I'm on a good, let's call that 15, 16 units. You've had, I reckon, 10 of them. That's probably 20.
In one night. I literally feel like it's awesome and I love my life and I've had a few drinks and it's all amazing. Bit pissed.
It's not that amazing. I mean, it's raining. We're in Birmingham.
I don't give a shit about the rain.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya.
Jess,
bye,
I'll text
bye,
you.
Bye, bye, bye. For me, every night's not a night like that, but I'll be in the pub tomorrow lunchtime at Newcastle watching West Brom. I'll doubtless have a drink Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and I don't know, just got to keep an eye on myself. I'm someone looking down on everybody, not least Sarah, when, perhaps I'm the one with the problem. This drinking diary is the least satisfying diary to look back on. My weekly intake is something like 75 units. I mean, pardon the terrible pun, it is sobering. I mean, that is just mad.
I'm back at the doctor's to find out if I have managed to get away with drinking so much for so long.
So I have the blood results back, and the liver function tests are essentially normal.
So, God, how can that be when I drink so much? I mean, look, now I've started counting for the purposes of making this programme. I'm feeling quite pleased with myself if I don't do the weekly allowance in a night.
We know very well that you can have normal liver function tests and you can have significant scarring of the liver, and in some cases cirrhosis of the liver. Okay, well, let's do the fibre scan then.
I can hardly wait. Surely my luck will run out now.
If there's any scarring on the liver or signs of poor function, this FibroScan will pick it up.
And I'm face down, yeah?
No, your head,
Right. I thought the liver was at the back. It shows how much I know. I'm sure mine's at the back.
Some cold jelly. So straight away, Adrian, instead of the normal medium probe, I'm using a bigger probe so that just shows you kind of the level of fat, etc. It's a marker that you're probably overweight.
And carrying so much fat, you've got to use a bigger probe to get through it. Is that what you're saying? Well, is a bit of alcohol good for the liver? Give it something to do, because it might just get bored otherwise.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have to worry about that. I think the liver has enough to do without you worrying about its boredom. So, Adrian, I mean, this shows us exactly that even though the blood tests were almost completely normal, the FibroScan was abnormal. And with a FibroScan score of 8.9, we would classify that as a mild or even moderate fibrosis of the liver. And on top of that, you've got significant liver fat, which we call hepatic steatosis, which is something that we also see with heavy alcohol consumption.
If I just carry on like I am, what?
Well, I mean, the short answer to that is you can't carry on like this. You're at risk of disease progression to cirrhosis, end-stage liver disease, and liver failure.
And death.
And death. Over a period of time, if you are abstaining completely from alcohol, we would expect to see some improvement in that level of fibrosis. It's never too late to stop drinking alcohol. That's really a key message that we need to get across. I mean, my advice to people is you go for those 3 to 4 consecutive days that you don't drink, and you bring your overall alcohol consumption in line with the weekly allowance on the other days. And that's a healthy intervention, and that's the recommendations that we would be making.
I was shocked. It hasn't really sunk in, actually. But in the end, I can't be surprised. I feel lucky to have had access to him, I suppose, and given me that concrete warning that he'd got to drink less. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. So I've got to take that on board. But I just feel a bit of an idiot for having always drunk so much. I mean, what was I thinking? Goodbye forever.
It's dawning on me that I've been kidding myself all along that alcohol hasn't affected my health. Evidence to the contrary has, after all, been staring me in the face.
I do have high blood pressure. You know, I do have sort of gastric issues. And I do have some anxiety and depression, all of which, you know, alcohol is a factor in all of those. It's on my mind all the time. Like now, I'm thinking we'll do the filming. I'll go back to London. It looks like I'll be early enough, so I'll pass my mate's house where I normally go for a couple of pints with him. I said, why am I doing that now? Then I'll be fuzzy all night, slightly. Probably have 2, 3, 4 pints with him. Get home 9, half 9. Trough a load of food and then go to bed. With heartburn, high blood pressure and some anxiety. So what on earth am I playing at? I've also got the tyranny of the flipping app on my phone now. It nags away. You haven't downloaded you haven't inputted your data. I'm gonna smash the flipping thing up. Another one there. Did you have anything to drink last night? Yeah, mind your own bloody business.
The prospect of changing the way I drink is daunting.
Don't let these bloody plants die. When Mum goes away, we get a terrible bollocking.
But I do have the perfect person to talk to. Like me, my dad always put a lot away, but 6 months ago, had to radically cut down.
You always drank a lot, and we always thought, oh, his liver's going to go, but your liver always looked all right. But then finally, you had this blood clot, and you had to have blood thinning things, warfarin, which you can't drink with just a small amount. So you had to go from drinking a lot to not very much.
I'll cheat occasionally, have 3 glasses, but that's as far as it goes.
Right, you've got a very few. Now, how's that changed things for you?
It's boring for a start. I do sneak another one. I've had 3.
I know.
But,
And Baileys.
Okay.
But that's how part of it.
But that's alcohol.
Do you feel better for drinking less?
No. I know, says I look better, I sound better.
My sister-in-law's a doctor, so he gets his.
You know, I said, well,
I can't speak for you, but in terms of mental health, as you know, I've always suffered from sort of anxiety, depression, slightly, bit of medication. I've always struggled with that. And then, you know, that could be alcohol.
The absence of it, who knows?
What, the absence of alcohol? Well, no, but seriously, I mean, you don't think that can be an issue for mental health? 'Cause it is a depressant. But you don't believe in depression anyway, don't you? You think it's all rubbish?
No, I think so too, yes.
You think?
I think it's rubbish,
You
yes.
think depression's rubbish?
Well, yes, get going.
All right.
It will get better. Definitely will get better.
So, my mum thinks depression doesn't exist, and my dad says drinking less is just boring. I need some encouragement from someone who can tell me it is possible to radically change your drinking habits and be happy about it.
I've set a bad example here. I've just been stuck on a delayed train for hours looking at the sunshine outside and thought I've got to
Make the most of it.
make the most.
I'm in West Yorkshire to meet Charlie, a woman who has somehow managed to bring her seriously excessive drinking under control.
I mean, just going back to the beginning, did you drink as a teenager then? Were you obsessed with it like I was as a kid?
I wasn't obsessed with it, but I did drink. And it wasn't until my 30s that I kind of started thinking, oh, can I have a drink on a school night? People kind of say that I was the party girl and the sort of joker and...
It becomes self-fulfilling, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. There was a point, it's sort of 3 or 4 years ago, where I really hit rock bottom. My job went wrong, relationships were going wrong, literally everything was stacking up, and I just got to the point where I was, at my lowest point, was drinking 3 bottles of wine a night and dragging myself to work.
How does that even work?
I don't know. All I could think about on the way home was getting a bottle of wine. And then I'd go and get another one, and then I'd go and get another one. It was like it was pop.
Okay, so I poured that for you about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I don't think you've even touched it yet, but
No.
back in the day, that would
have gone. Yeah,
already.
easily, yeah. It's scary.
Do you think it's had an effect on your mental health?
Yeah, definitely. The anxiety was horrendous because I was in such a dark place. I knew that I had to do something. I actually put myself into an alcohol program.
So you're on 3 bottles of wine a night. And what are you now doing? A week, what would you...
Probably a bottle a week.
Why did you feel you couldn't give up completely, or didn't want to give up completely?
I would love to be abstinent, but it's one of those things, it's like, if you never tried alcohol, you would never know kind of thing. But once you've had it, once it's brought so many positive memories and amazing impromptu times and great chats and stuff like that, it is difficult. I would love to be abstinent. I just don't think inherently I have it. Even if I only drank 1 glass of wine a year, I think that would be me.
In this long discussion about moderate drinking, I've had a pint of lager. We've had a bottle of wine. And look, it's not 7:30 yet. We go straight home now, all right? You'd like to memorise it. I was doing all right with that not drinking much until that flipping idiot from Birmingham turned up and started asking me about it. The longer I go on, the more confused I get about absolutely everything. No, I don't know why I need it. I don't know why many people need it, but I don't know why I need it. I don't know why I can't just come here. I'm in a beautiful pub in a lovely spot in Yorkshire, and I don't know why does drink make a difference? Why not just drink more? I don't understand. I wish I could be released from it.
Do you ever drink to relieve emotional stress? Occasionally. How many times in the past year have you tried to cut down or stop drinking? Never. I need to look a bit deeper into what's motivating my drinking. So I'm off to see a therapist to ask how alcohol might be affecting my mental health.
At the moment, I take 20 milligrams of citalopram a day, which is a bog standard kind of antidepressant. 20 milligram, pretty much a standard dose. But I think half the population's on that from what I'm led to believe, so.
How's the units going?
Partly because I've had a word with myself. I'm now down to about, 50, 60 plus units a week. So I would still say I'm a drinker in the red zone. Hello.
Hi, Adrian.
John McKeown is a psychotherapist specialising in addiction.
You right?
Yes, good, thank you.
Is there not a couch or something?
You can actually take that option of lying down if you'd like. So, drinking and depression can coexist.
Yeah.
Have you ever been diagnosed or felt that you...
I got diagnosed with sort of anxiety, I suppose. It was particularly bad after I sort of got booted off doing breakfast television. And then I was just doing football, so paid loads of money. When you were working, you were just presenting football.
Yeah.
But I got in a horrible state. I just got this unbelievable amount of adrenaline surging through my system. And then occasionally it would just stop and I'd be left with nothing. And that's when I did feel like I was depressed then, where for days or weeks I could just barely move. The only way I could sort that out would be to have 1 or maybe 2 pints. That would kill it for the evening. And suddenly I see that life was full of possibilities and wasn't horrendous. I don't know, I've never talked specifically about drinking, probably because I've always lied about what I drink.
Right, so you've covered it up.
Well, to a certain extent, but I've never actually known. I've never counted it till now. I might be as deluded as the next man, I don't know.
Well, in some way you are, because of the amount you're drinking. What do you feel when someone says, you can only drink 14 units a week?
Before I looked into it with this programme, I'd think, well, it's so low, I'm just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
There's different rates for different countries around the world, as I'm sure you know. Then you go, well, who knows? And nobody knows anything, so I'll just crack on.
That sounds quite arrogant, nobody knows anything.
Well, I mean, if it's so clear, then why is there a different rate for every country?
Well, that's where maybe the whole thing of denial being part of addiction. What the scientists are saying seems to be backed with a lot of evidence. Pancreatitis, other things, other health issues that are now coming to the fore more and more. And yet, what you're saying is, I know better.
So no, I do accept it's a problem. It needs to come down.
You're already alcohol dependent. You're still dependent on what alcohol does for you. that relief or that buzz or that ability to relax. I mean, it does seem to be an emphasis on that mood shift, that mood change. I feel better when. And we could challenge, if you didn't drink at all, what would you feel like?
I don't know.
The sort of road here seems to be leading to, I need to change my mood because I don't like how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't like who I am, which I know is getting a bit deeper, perhaps.
No, I think that's, yeah.
But, you know, it's like, well, strip it all away.
Yeah.
How's Adrian?
Yeah.
Who is he? If we don't like ourselves, then what do we do to be likable? Just going back to this idea that, do I drink to feel better? Yes, I do.
Something your friend said to me really sticks in my mind. She said, oh, without alcohol, for me, the world's a very beige place. The world's a beautiful place, even if you're just looking at a tree in the sky. Beautiful place. But why does it feel beige when you don't drink? And I felt exactly the same. Seeing your best mate is a beautiful thing, somebody you've known for 40 years. Why on earth do you need to share 4 or 5 pints to enhance it?
Well, you don't need to, but you're used to, and you associate those good times with alcohol. And actually, until you kind of stop and go back and start changing some of those beliefs, then you'll always do the same thing.
It's extraordinary, especially given I've had so much therapy for one reason or another over the years. It's extraordinary I've never had that specific conversation with anyone. And that's because of all the therapy I've generally paid for, I've never said, right, drinking, I want to talk about my drink. I've never done that. I've steered it in other directions where maybe alcohol is it's not the root of it, a major sort of effect of it. Yeah. I don't know, it felt like a weight off my shoulders to actually sit and talk about it like that, I must admit. Having seen John McKeown, that counsellor, the other day, I was quite shocked myself, though. I mean, all right, there's always a reason to drink, but it was my mate's birthday. I went to meet him for a drink, and I got more drunk than I've been in a year. I drank a colossal amount of wine, to the extent I was falling over when I got home. I think, well, why am I doing this? What am I trying to prove to myself? Having just had 2 hours with an excellent counsellor, very intelligent guy, and I bought into everything he said, what bit of me decided it was a good idea to go out and get absolutely trolleyed? I wonder whether it's partly because I thought, hang on, the end is nigh into not, I'm going to die, I don't think, but just in terms of I'm going to have to really cut down my drinking, so perhaps I thought I was just getting in a massive session under the wire. Maybe. Oh, don't tell me this onion's knackered, no. Fuck. That's a disappointment with the onion. In the past, that might have driven me to the bottle. Not tonight, though. Oh, no. Things are going to change around here. The question is now, do I have to abstain completely? Or can I drink more responsibly, to use the world's most boring phrase, but can I do it? And still get the joy out of drinking, while drinking a lot less? That is a question.
I have an alcohol-free friend coming round for lunch.
I wondered if you want to buy any tea towels.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
By anyone's measure, Frank Skinner was once a full-blown alcoholic. Or, as he puts it, a Pernod-in-the-morning kind of drinker. More than 30 years ago, he decided to stop and hasn't touched a drop since.
You know, I could tell you about, I had temporary blindness. I can tell you about lying in my bed and seeing spiders on the ceiling. But that wasn't why I did it. I did it because a lot of the time it was brilliant, that life was just some adventure. I have never replaced that white heat of joy that you get from alcohol.
If the crack was so fantastic when you were drinking, it was so brilliant, then why stop in the end then? I'm not quite clear on why you stopped.
I mainly stopped from fear. I had a couple of mates died quite young who were heavy drinkers, and I think no pun intended, I bottled it.
So don't get annoyed with me when I say this. I found myself almost envying you, right? Because I thought at least when you saw you having Pernod in the morning, then you thought, right, I've wet the bed. I have to stop. It's not that clear with me whether I absolutely need to stop or to moderate. I sort of kid myself that my level of drinking, which is nothing like yours was, but it's still 40, 50, 60 units a week. I've convinced myself it's normal because I surround myself with people who are a bit like me.
My social life has never recovered from stopping drinking.
That's one of my issues with abstaining. There's lots of my relationships are based not on getting smashed, but just on going out meeting 2 or 3 pints. And I just wonder what would happen to those relationships.
You think you need beer in order to carry on your social life, but you haven't tested it. Try it for, 3 months, see what happens.
I was rather...
You won't, will you?
I might, actually.
You won't. You won't. For some strange reason, you need some sort of handrail in your social life, something that takes you somewhere, that makes you a person that you aren't, or you don't feel you are normally. That's the question you got to ask. What that is.
It's a bit hot, that bread. It's only just...
Oh, look at that. Hot bread.
Now, you can take this with you as well. I've got some Tupperware ready for you. So what would your advice be to me? Would it be, A, in terms of just stop or don't stop, and B, if you did stop, what's your advice to me on how to do it?
My advice to you would be don't stop, because when you talk about meeting people and having 2 or 3 beers, it sounds great to me. Of course it does damage when it's done to excess, but if you're one of the people who can just keep this side of the dark side, if you like, it just can be so brilliant.
Now I'm quite confused, because when we were talking over there, you were saying, well, just stop drinking for 3 months. I thought you were getting to the point of saying, just stop.
I envy your relationship with alcohol. It may be a bit above the norm, but it's near enough to the norm not to sacrifice all the good stuff. If you came to me and said, I'm seeing spiders on the ceiling, I would say stop.
I don't know what to do.
Have a pint. Go on. That's what they used to say to me when I quit. Have a pint. But I didn't.
Frank was sort of fascinating as ever. Although he's kind of too intelligent to give a binary answer, really. Frank envies my level of drinking, but my level isn't as low as he thinks. I'm still not quite entirely sure what the answer is. Perhaps I ought to just look at completely stopping.
Frank quit on his own. If I'm to quit, though, I'll need help. So I've come to Smart Recovery, a programme for people with addiction problems.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
How you doing?
Most of this group are abstinent now.
You know, a lot of people, one of their fears about giving up drinking completely is, how will I be able to socialise? I'll never be able to enjoy myself. I'll never be able to do this. I'll never be able to do that. And that's what stops them taking that final step. But it's simply not true.
I still don't really know how to navigate my way around, particularly meeting somebody new. They say, well, let's go for a drink, and then you sit and have a few drinks and talk for 3 or 4 hours and have a fascinating conversation. I don't really know how to do that.
Well, what about doing... Why does it have to be in a place where there's alcohol? What about doing something else? And also, this whole thing about, getting to know people, well, we all know that once you start drinking, it's more of a chemical thing that's going on. It's not really you, is it? So are people really getting to know you, or are they just getting to know one side of you?
But also, are you sort of self-fulfilling here? Because Now you've sort of set a boundary that this person, these people that you've met, expect to be inside.
Yeah.
So the next time, oh, we'll meet in the pub again.
Absolutely.
We all drink for different reasons, but ultimately we all drink for the same, which is to change the way we feel. That's why people do it.
What if you don't like the real you? What if you stop drinking? Oh, this is me. Oh, my God, it's awful.
That's something that actually hit me when you were talking. I'm thinking, well, how does Adrian see himself? What does he feel about himself? Does Adrian love Adrian?
No, God, no.
Well, there you go.
So the alcohol is there to disguise the person you are.
You have sat here today without alcohol.
Yeah.
You've bonded, you've connected, we've had a bit of a laugh, and you've been yourself. I'm assuming this is who you are, yeah? And you've not needed alcohol to do that.
You seem perfectly likeable.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
No, well, I don't know. Just threw that in there.
Is it possible to drink sensibly, responsibly? You have plenty of days off. You enjoy the drinks more that you do drink. If you can do it like that, and I'm beginning to think it's difficult. I just wonder whether you think it's possible, or do you think I'm kidding myself?
It's possible.
You think it is possible?
You can do it in moderation. Just set yourself a limit. You don't have to, like, do it all in one go. You set yourself a limit.
It is possible to moderate your drink. Not for me, that isn't possible, but for yourself, the way you're talking, it is possible. You have to be aware and be truthful about your thinking before you go in. And not tell yourself lies before you go in, convince yourself and rationalise. And I think as long as you have an understanding of yourself, you can take everything in stride and be in control.
Abstinence. Look, maybe it's the only answer. In a way, I think maybe it'd be a shame. If I can get a grip on it and just do it and enjoy it in moderation, then I think that's, in a way, that's a more honest step. I try and keep to 14 units. I'll never go above 20 units a week. If I can pull that off, I'll be pleased with myself. I think that's a start.
The problem is alcohol is the only drug you have to apologise for not taking. I'm on my way to an event run by Club Soda, an organisation for those wanting to stop or cut down their drinking without killing their social lives. Luckily, I have a wing woman. It's Sarah's first time too.
I've been oversharing like mad for weeks and months on this project now, so I'm gonna drag you into my web too. What led you to this then? Put simply, why did you want to drink less?
I think I just realised that over the past few years, I'd started drinking more, and it was very much that you get home, you tough the commute out both in and out of town, you've had a day at work, and you kind of walk in, you'd have children going, what's for dinner, when is it?
Yeah.
Right, I need wine.
So you undertook to try and drink less, and actually that's difficult when most of your relationships and friendships are
based around
drinking. I mean, not going out and getting smashed, but, sitting around 2 or 3 hours in a pub or a restaurant, getting through, units and units and units.
Yeah. And I did worry about that. I worried about if I turn up to where people I know will expect me to be drinking, how will they behave if I don't?
Yeah.
Because in you saying you're not drinking, obviously everybody goes, oh, just have the one.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, no, I've decided I'm not drinking today.
Yeah.
And then they wonder, it's almost like a reflection back to them.
It is, but it would be different if you say, right, I may or may not be an alcoholic, but I am not drinking at all anymore. Then at least that's straightforward, and they either can or can't deal with that.
Yeah.
You're in this grey area. It's difficult, because then do they take it personally that maybe you're not drinking with them, but you might have a better friend somewhere else who you are drinking with?
No, I don't think so, because my close friends I've been very honest with and said, I'm not saying I'm never going to have a glass of wine with you guys again, but I will choose the occasion to do it when I feel like doing it, rather than just automatically doing it.
So it's a beautiful day. There's a load of people you've not met before.
Yeah.
You've been filmed. This call for a cold one. It's now, but can you not drink at all?
I think it's for people who do want to stop drinking completely if they want to, or people who want to cut down, or people who want to decide when and where they have a drink.
I'm getting quite nervous on your behalf and my own, actually, before going in.
Club Soda champions what it calls mindful drinking. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm hoping for some practical tips from the co-founder, Laura. What are the rules and regulations today? Me and my new friend were wondering if we might have a drink with lunch, but we're happy not to.
It's a dry event because even if you're moderating your drinking, you should be able to manage a lunchtime not drinking. And for us, it's about practicing a new behaviour in a familiar setting, knowing that you cannot drink in the pub and the sky won't fall in.
So look, if having met you, I reflect upon my, many alcoholic sins. And tonight I just went to the pub, sat quietly, maybe, just had 1 pint of Guinness, and really thought about it, enjoyed it, and then went home. Would that count as mindful drinking?
Yeah, if you can stop at that one and you plan that one and you feel that that's within the limits and isn't affecting your life, then absolutely. My problem when I was drinking was I didn't drink every day, but I had no off switch. So once I started, I find it difficult to stop.
It's interesting you say you didn't have an off switch. See, I've got an off switch, but I've also got a very easy to switch on switch.
Yeah.
So I'll drink every day and I'll stop. But the fact is, I'm drinking every day. Do you know what I mean?
So there are some key tips to moderating. The first is to really plan when you are going to drink and know which days they are, and plan very carefully your alcohol-free days. So actually, you're no different to anyone who's looking to go alcohol-free. You still need to plan for triggers and things that might stop you on your days that are alcohol-free. The second is to have some really clear rules. Will you drink at home or won't you drink at home? The other is not to drink for your first 2 drinks in the pub, so you can see whether you're definitely enjoying it or not, and then you might want to have a drink. Often by the second drink, everyone else is beginning to get a bit boring, and so you go, you know what, I've managed 2 now, I'll carry on not drinking. It's amazing how often we drink to stay at events we're not enjoying.
Yes.
And really, we should just go home.
Oh man, that's so true, that is. Do you ever get that feeling, Sid, you wake up in the morning and you think, wow, what a great night that was?
I do, I get that all the time now.
I mean, really? No.
Yeah, really.
Not just, oh, nice night. I mean, really, wow, what a great night that was without drink. That's
Absolutely.
possible.
But it was amazing. Oh, 3.4%.
I'm happy to report Sarah and I both had a good time. And I even got a club soda party bag full of alcohol-free beers.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebird.
Hi mate, can I have a pint of Guinness, please? I've made a concerted effort through having non-drinking days, drinking an awful lot of alcohol-free beer. I'm drinking a tiny proportion of what I was drinking before. But I got to tell you, I'm still probably, with all those efforts, at twice the recommended limit. I'm still around 25 units a week. So I'm beginning to think I must have been in the hundreds before I started making this program. I mean, the terrifying thing is actually making a TV documentary that's forced me to face up to how much I'm drinking and just what a quiet, sort of vice-like grip it had on my life. And extricating yourself from that isn't easy. I don't do optimism, but I think I can change my life to drink less. And in so doing, maybe get more out of drinking and more out of the times when I'm not drinking. But I absolutely pledge never to allow myself to be pressured into drinking something I don't want to drink. And never again am I going to pressure anybody else to drink something they don't want to drink. Anyway, cheers. It's my first one this week. And it's the first time I've been able to say that since I was about 16 years old. So that's something.
You know that life is short, talk is cheap. Don't be making promises that you can't keep. And you must keep talking. Please try to make it rhyme. Because your mind is on vacation and your mouth is working overtime.